Howdy y'all, and welcome back to Country Fried Minis. I'm your host Cameron, the country boy in the big city, and today I'm not presenting from the Bullshit Corner 2.0, but instead I'm presenting from right here at my workstation in front of the computer to bring to you another community post talking about the Rose City Raid. Howdy y'all, and welcome back to another Country Fried Minis community spotlight. We're here at day one at the Rose City Raid doing some pre-preparatory stuff, getting ready to get into these rounds today and see how the day goes. Unfortunately, this is going to be the last year of the Rose City Raid, but I do highly encourage y'all to get out and travel and check out some fun tournaments. Though this piece is kind of framed as a love letter to Infinity tournaments in general, one of the defining features of the Rose City Raid tournament are these spicy tables upon which we're playing. Each one here offers its own unique challenges, and most of them have some kind of terrain types to make your game all the more difficult. For me, it's one of the highlights of the event, and I really love getting to play on these tables year after year. It's kind of crazy seeing how each of these tables grow and evolve over the course of years. Even though they're kind of the same year after year, there's always these subtle little differences like new pieces of terrain or interesting configurations to make them new and fresh. Though I didn't get time to talk to everybody about their tables, I did take a moment to talk to Nick about his fabulous Red Dwarf table, one of my most favorites here at the event. I'm lucky enough to see this table pop up every now and then in local events, but it's really cool to see it here at Rose City Raid, and it wasn't out of place at all. It was just as challenging as some of the worst tables out there. On that subject, let's pick his mind for a moment.
Hello, my name's Nick Finch, and these are the tables I worked on. What would you like to know?
What goes into building a competitive table for this hardest of games?
Well, step one is don't think about the competitiveness of the table. Pick a theme. I like to think about the theme of the table, and then I like to think about what it's like to play on that table. Fortunately, with the space table here, when I designed it originally in 2016 out of 100% foam core, and I actually had the opportunity to play a lot of games with this format. And when I designed this table, I wanted to design a corridor table that wasn't a pain in the butt to play on. One where you could actually get to the corridors with your hands, ones where you could actually move pieces around, because most space corridor tables tend to, they just tend to be very narrow, very samey, very hard to play in. And Infinity, I feel like there's a few key things that need to exist on a table. Is one or two long fire lanes, one or two, and then things that block, and then having it asymmetric, an advantage to a table side. So when I designed it as this configuration to kind of have 4 major corridors, but it's also modular. I could do it as one giant table and one giant corridor in the middle with stuff around it, or one long one here and then 2 side ones there.
It's definitely a blast to play on. I suppose before we wrap this up, why does your table fit in at the Rose City Raid?
Oh, because it has a lot of these death corridors that everyone has to get funneled into. It's a table that you normally don't get play on. Rose City Raid is all about abnormal tables, abnormal things, so it's not just a bunch of boxes on a table, it's big corridors, which, depending on if you were to build a list for this table alone, there's a potential that alone can win you a game, and most people won't do that.
There's what,
you can't
25 tables here today?
Yeah.
Something like that?
25.
Well, thank you for your time, Nick.
Yeah,
this is a fabulous table. I actually just wrapped up my game here on this table, and it was a nightmare. It was a good time, though. That's what we're here for. Having a good time, having a bad time.
Yeah.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Later.
Nick's table turned out to be a favorite among the crowd and talked about quite a bit during the event. There's definitely a few tables here at the event that really stand out and are always a joy to play your opponent across. The interior details on Nehemiah's Shantytown table are an impossible standard to live up to, and John's Zero G Shipwreck is a fabulous nightmare to try and play on. That said, I'm quite partial to John's Plane Crash table. Even though I didn't get to play on it this year, I always love seeing it here at the event. His table's quite the sight in the Infinity scene, because most tables don't use foliage at all. Something about having combat in the trees just seems a little out of place to most players, but I love it myself. The low vis and saturation zones really make for a difficult time on the table. Plus, it's always a joy to see it laid out next to the other thematic tables by John. They look so fantastic together, I just can't get over it. So, for that, I'd be remiss if I didn't snag a moment to talk with John about his table on one of the mornings before the games began.
Alright, I'm John. You probably know me better as WiseKensai on the internet. We're here at Rose City Raid, the 5th one in 2023, the second day. So today's missions are Panic Room and Highly Classified, with a bit of a spin. So Highly Classified is to be played on a smaller version of the table, so we're just going to cordon off the center of the table for that. I'm busy setting up half of the 4-table Mega Ariadne table that I've been working on. So it starts with a plane crash, goes into a minefield gate table, and then the 2 tables over there are going to be like an airport, I guess, or a helipad port, and then also sort of like the big Cheyenne mountain complex entrance there. We'll call it Mount Doom. Yeah, all these tables have a theme. This one is just sort of like they're in the trees. Every template you see on the table is a low vis saturation zone. It's designed to make shooting more difficult. Things are a little bit more survivable as a result. So things that you think might work in terms of odds, you might get thrown off by that, and your opponent will generally survive shots that you take against them. So you end up needing to plan ahead, having extra resources to do what you need to do, or just avoid engaging them and take advantage of the fact that you're more survivable yourself. But yeah, I mean, I think really what I wanted to do was take advantage of some of the less oft-used rules in the terrain stuff, and also make people think differently about how they approach the game. Because too many of the tables that you see are sort of like, I have a box and it's an L shape, and then I put guys in the L shape, and then we just stand in the window and shoot at each other until we're all dead. And Infinity very much is not about that. Infinity is about, I said before, resource management, really getting to know yourself as a player. I find that I write up every game I play. So I find all the games I've lost are ones that I have not given myself the emotional space and allowance to take a breath and figure out what I really need to do, instead of getting really anxious about just completing the turn, getting through the tournament. And so forcing you to think laterally as part of the table design, I think gives people that affordance in sort of design parlance to be like, oh, I need to stop and think, and then they maybe have a more interesting game as a result. Yeah, that's sort of the 2 cents of these 2 tables at the moment.
Nice. Thank you for your time on that. I guess any thoughts as to why people want to play in big tournaments? Why would you want to drive 10 hours to come play in a tournament?
That's the people. Some of these people, this is the only time I see them, right? I see them once a year. It's at Rose City or another travel tournament, right? And these are friends that I talk to them every day on the internet, but it's not the same. And so it's just nice to be able to see people like Fried Minis over here, right? And you get to have a drink or share a meal with them and just catch up outside of the game, because a lot of the discourse online is game focused. Obviously, there's a lot of hype around release cycles and so on, but it's not so often you have to just sort of sit back and enjoy companionable silence, and then you talk about family and outside of game aspirations and sort of that sort of stuff. I mean, you can get the gaming experience at your local meta, your shop, and everything. But for me, the reason I come to these things is to see the people that I don't get to see except for this one time a year.
Nice. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
It's no secret that the tables are such a huge part of the Rose City Raid, but that's not really why we're here. The most important aspect of these here tournaments is the community. Whether you're looking to settle an old grudge match, or meet new people, or just test your mettle against armies you don't usually get to play against, these events are always a great place to challenge your opponents. For me, the Rose City Raid is so special because it's about a 10-hour drive that happens only once a year, and some of these faces I only see here, leaving me with a sense of both novelty and familiarity.
Howdy folks, and welcome back to day 2 of the Rose City Raid. This is Cameron once again on behalf of Country Fried Minis. Folks are getting set up and putting tables together. We got some lunch up on the porch up there, and folks are eating and getting ready to have a good time, having a bad time on these horrendous tables with some terrific rounds. Everybody here is really highly skilled and has some really fantastic lists, so I'm really looking forward to seeing what the day holds.
Hi folks, it's me again. Thought I'd go ahead and interrupt and toss out some thanks where it's due. This whole Rose City Raid event wouldn't be possible without Adam and John. That's Adam of the Dice Abide and John of Bromad Academy. You can check them out at their respective websites. That's going to be thediceabide.com, where you can see articles by Adam and links to the YouTube page as well. And that's bromadacademy.com, where John posts some fantastic battle reps and does painting challenges and the like. If you'd like, go ahead and check them out on YouTube and give them a like and follow. Check out some of their content on their fun shows like Late Night War Games and Tabletop Throwdown. Thanks again to Adam and John. This event is the highlight of my year, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what becomes of it. And while we're here giving thanks, I want to go ahead and shout out 2 community members of the meta in this area. And that's going to be Nehemiah Hobby over here on YouTube. He does some really fantastic green stuff conversions for a bunch of Infinity stuff and other games. If you want to check out some in-depth sculpting stuff, I highly recommend heading on over and putting this stuff on play while you're working in the hobby corner yourself. Another shout out is owed over to Deck of Corner Case. He puts out some fairly regular content talking about Infinity and Malifaux and deep dives into games. It's a really fun show to check, and I highly recommend checking them out. So without further ado, thank y'all, and let's get back to the show. Finally, let's take a moment to get some community members' opinions on why Infinity tournaments are so awesome and why you should maybe check them out.
All right, so I am Steve Butt, or King Butt, as a lot of you might know me as, and just want to say, so I really enjoy Infinity tournaments. You get to really test yourself, but you also get to meet a lot of really great people, and there's a lot of hidden information. There's a lot of ways that you could cheat and stuff, but people are very honest. You typically don't have to worry about that stuff. It's nice to see people and play these people. But yeah, as far as what I like most about Infinity outside of the game, I enjoy the look of the models. I am not a good painter. I know some good painters. I'm terrible at painting. I'm also really lazy. I try to buy pre-painted lots if I want to try a new faction. But yeah, the models just look amazing. It's fantastic. But yeah.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Okay.
My name's Gus, also known as Randomcallsign, from Northern California up in Humboldt. Say the most important reason to come to a tournament like this is just to play outside your local meta. Mine's 3 people, and we are sick and tired of playing each other. So come here with 52 people. That's 49 different opponents I can play, different armies I haven't seen in years and years. And you get new tables, new experiences, different missions. It's just a better way to expand your thought process on how to play, and people are going to have new tricks that you haven't thought of before. You always come out of these tournaments a better player than you were when you walked in. So it's always worth it.
Monkeebizniz. I played Morats, obviously, and so yeah. Why you would want to even come out to a tournament? One is what's the best part about Infinity is the game that you play with an opponent, and you can't do that in your room all the time. I mean, Tabletop Simulator is great, but you can't drink a beer. You don't get to see all the face interactions. And again, it's a community event, right? This isn't win or lose, and you're gonna find out where you're wrong and where you're right, and then it also tends to be in this crowd there's some sharks swimming in the water, and they can really help you improve your game. It's just always. COVID's over. Come out and play. That's it. That's it. I got. Thanks.
Well, I'm Hunter Brown. My IT's handle is CommanderHorseHead. Been coming to Rose City for would have been 4 years, but COVID, but it's been 3 years. The reason why I come to these tournaments generally is just because, well, one, I have my dad with me, but also just introducing myself to all the lovely people in the Infinity community. It's like the main difference. That's why I don't really play TTS, that much, because it's not like a really social thing. That's why I really enjoy coming to tournaments. The other aspect I really enjoy about Infinity besides the game is that everybody who plays Infinity is a really cool dude. I've never had a negative interaction with anybody here. They're a cool group of dudes.
I'm Bobby. This is from Rose City Raid 5. Had a great time. Just got my ass kicked, but it was a good time. Great thing about tournaments is you come out, you get to hang out with cool people, play games, and just kind of relax. So that's the great idea behind the tournaments. We did something fun. So the group from Shiv Games, you can find them on eBay or any socials. They're a great community. We did 8 people played NA2, so each one played a different NA2 faction. And we handed out cool stickers and stuff like that to people who beat us, so it was a great time. And come on out, play some games. There's nothing that's downside for it, so do that.
Hi, I'm Obadiah, Nehemiah on the forums and ITS handle, and this is the Rose City Raid, yes. So we just wrapped up out here in beautiful Oregon. Came up here from Bay Area and ended up winning somehow, so that's very exciting for me. I've never won like a large tournament, but the things that I really enjoyed about the game are painting and modeling the minis. I get a lot of enjoyment out of just tinkering around with green stuff and converting units into kind of obscenely ridiculously new poses. But yeah, I really enjoy coming to tournaments because you get to meet a bunch of new people, you get to hang out with people. Your friends do silly dances in the background, wearing lobster shirts, and then while you're trying to talk on the camera, and you get to meet a bunch of new people. You get to hang out. Usually, you get to have a lot of games. I think it's a great way to learn the game rapidly as well, because you get just a whole plethora of different people doing different things that you might not think of, that make it help you learn the game, and also you don't stagnate because you're not playing the same people all the time. And that's I think that's about it.
Hi, Deklar here. Just want to thank Adam and John and all the people that helped with all the Rose City raids 5 times. It was awesome. Everybody's super appreciative. Sad that's going to leave, but I'm on to new pastures. We'll see everybody at Shit Show, hopefully. And thanks, Jeff, for his contribution to the charity. You matched the $1,600. That's awesome. And I'll see you later.
So as you've probably gathered by now, the Rose City Raid as it was is no longer. This year has been the 5th and final one in its current incarnation. That said, moving forward, it appears that Adam's wanting to put together something new and something special with a bit of a focus towards community building and raising money for charity, which I think is an incredible cause. I highly look forward to what's coming in the future, and I really hope that there's an opportunity to get some more Infinity tournaments in. And as always, I want y'all to remember to be happy while you're painting, and I also highly encourage you to get out there and play in some tournaments. Anyhow, catch you next time. Take it easy, fellers.
Turn it. Shoot. You gotta take that.
Ooh.
Turning targets is really spicy. Yeah, I like it.
Oh. Is that on the side or the front?
Who's in the front?
Oh, no.
Front.
Okay.
Almost. That was a risky
You need a
move.
tough set. All right, Ted.
All right.
Take him down.
All right. I'm gonna
I'm gonna make
move.
some more tufts.
Yeah, move.
Dude, this is
shoot,
fucking great.
Reload.
This is fucking great.
Move, shoot, reload.
So you don't have to move the whole field, right?
You don't?
Nope.
And you get to turn at the end of your move.